Well, welcome to this week's edition of the Senior Footy Show. Hampden League Finals week number 2. What a cracking start it was last weekend. We had a tie in the first qualifying final, which was just unbelievable, between the North Warrnambool Eagles and the South Warrnambool Roosters. We went to extra time. It was a phenomenal game. Then on Sunday, the Portland Tigers made their debut in finals for the Hampden Football Netball League and had their first ever victory against the Warrnambool Blues. Just a fantastic start to Hampden League Finals football action. Trent Hill, as I say, good evening to you, mate. Wasn't it a beautiful weekend of football?
Oh, terrific. It was just a great vibe around both of the venues on the weekend. What a great game on Saturday. Even Sunday's game was great until probably 3/4, and the Tigers just really rallied and ran over the top of the Blues in that last quarter. But big crowds. I know, the gate takings were high. We had huge viewership on the Hampden League live stream, so everyone wanted a taste of Hampden League action, whether it was at the ground or via the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's up to around 25,000 views, both those games, last weekend, which is just phenomenal. When you put that and break that down, that is huge. So Hampden League footy and netball is well and truly alive. Make no mistake about it. We're going to get straight to the guests tonight because it is a training night. We're a little bit later with the shows this week, so we're looking forward to talking and previewing these big games, of course. And Saturday, the second semi-final at the Friendly Societies Park, it's the Koroit Saints taking on the North Warrnambool Eagles. They played off in that very last grand final that we saw in the Hampden Football Netball League. It was a nail-biter, so I'm looking forward to a cracking game this weekend. And the skipper for the Koroit Saints has been kind enough to join us in Liam Hoy-Hoisey. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, thanks, Stewie. How you going, Hilly?
Good, Hoisey.
Mate, got the hair looking pretty good tonight too, mate. Straight off the old yard out of Sungold Wild Racing, big fella.
Yeah, it's probably just sticking up a bit, isn't it? A bit windy outside, Stewie. Yeah.
Looks like you're straight out of Beverly Hills 90210, mate. Looking sensational.
Yeah, better trim that off. I'll cop it from the boys.
Hey, listen, mate, you must be excited heading into another campaign, another finals campaign, and you're coming up against a side that you guys love playing against in the North Warrnambool Eagles. They had a great victory last week against South Warrnambool.
Yeah, we can't wait, Stewie. It was, it was a really tough game last week. North were very good for a long part of the game, and it's not going to be easy. She's finals footy, and it's got to step up a notch. And as a footy team, we're going to have to step it up a bit too to give it a real shake. So we're looking forward to it. We've had a really good sort of time off and trained really hard over the weekend, and we had a slick night Tuesday night, and hopefully tonight's the same.
Hoisey, it seems like that you've got nearly a clean bill of health of playing list. I know Timmy Martin had a couple of weeks in the reserves, and no doubt would be putting his hand up for selection tonight. So it must be nice. It must be nice knowing that you've got nearly a full strength side to choose from.
Yeah, it is, Hilly. I can't remember the last time we've had such a healthy list. So probably just a combination of management and I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate that Port Fairy sort of pulled the pin there about a month ago, and that gave us an extra week off, and everyone's just feeling absolutely cherry ripe. And like I said, hopefully we have another good night on the track and lead into Saturday fit and ready to go.
Hoisey, how does Macca and yourself as skipper, how do you keep the motivation for the boys? You've been up for a long time. I know we've had a couple of COVID years. Do you think that's helped? And what's the messaging been kind of over these last kind of 5 or 6 weeks, mate?
Yeah, motivation's easy, Stewie. There's a lot of young lads coming through who've just bought into, what's been built over the last sort of 6-7 years. There's a lot of individual reasons like to share success with, and there's none no bigger than our old mate Stewie. So motivation's certainly not lacking, and I think the older boys have in a new phase in their life. It was all footy as young people, and they sort of stepped into work life, and now they're all sort of young fathers. So they're sharing it with their family and creating new memories, and there's all those little things that have sort of added up to another successful campaign, and we just can't wait to hopefully push for another one.
Hoisey, I've loved watching you guys this year, and some of the young kids that have come on, Connor Byrne, the O'Sullivan boys. We saw Paddy and Mac Peterson,
Tommy
Bolsh. The young guys, the young guys have just stepped up beautifully, and they're playing a really nice brand of footy, and they just don't look out of place when they play in your lineup.
No, they had a bit of exposure sort of through that COVID year last year, and even the the year before that. So, they've just, that exposure sort of held them in good stead. And they've had a big campaign, the boys. You sort of think back to the under-23 comp, sponsored by Bolshy and Stewie there. So we've had to, just make sure they're nice and fresh and bubbly. And, they're raring to go. Those young boys haven't tasted finals footy before at a senior level. And, they just can't wait. There's a really, really good feeling, and it's driven by those young boys.
I think that's the key, isn't it? They're the ones that are kind of coming through. They've got the passion. They're bubbled up. They're excited. The old stages are going to get dragged through now by the youth and the enthusiasm. Connor Burns, another name that comes to mind. Of course, Rebels are finished, so he'll no doubt slot back into that Koroit's Saint lineup as well. It's pretty exciting, Hoisey, and I know you'll be pumped. I know that the whole club's excited. Up at the Friendlies, expecting another big crowd, and we wish you all the best of luck this weekend, buddy.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, we can't wait to get out there. And I know you had to go at my hair. I've seen Jacko sort of swipping his hair to left and right, so don't miss him on the way through.
Hey, before we let you go, mate, you got a winner for us. Can you tip us into something from Wild Racing?
On Sunday, 1,300-metre benchmark 64 at Geelong. There's a horse called Mr. Me. It's got your man on board, Stewie, Johnny Allen. First up for the stable, he'll run a good race.
Oh, I like it, big fella. I like it, Hoisey. When Hoisey speaks,
I'm jotting that one down.
Mate,
Geelong, Sunday.
Beautiful, mate. Yeah, just a few tips in that air next time, mate. It'll just really jazz it up even further, I reckon, Hoisey. So great to see you, mate, and we'll see you on the weekend, buddy.
No worries, boys. Thanks very much, and go Saints.
Beautifully done, and he's hanging on. We have seen Jacko swiping in and swiping left. We're not on Tinder tonight, Jacko, but we say a very good evening to Daniel Jackson, the skipper of the Portland Tigers, mate. Got the job done against the Blues. This bloke was on fire, 30-plus possessions, earned him the Matthews Battalion MVP last weekend and the 3 votes, which was just magnificent. The $50 fuel voucher, all thanks to Matthews Battalion. Jacko, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, thanks, boys. Now you mentioned that, my partner actually told me on the weekend that she's played with my hair a bit too much in the field, so maybe something I've got to have a look at.
I think you've been doing it, mate. I don't think you're expecting us to be flashing to you tonight, though, so early either. So you might have got caught off guard there a little bit. Me and Hilly were trying to keep it together. Hey, listen, congratulations. And what was the feeling like? We heard that, you belted out the song. Hilly got down the rooms. He filmed it. Looked sensational. You had the tunes pumping before and after the game. Just a good feeling around Portland at the moment.
Yeah, it was unreal. Walking into those change rooms, having all like the reserves players and just people around the club that have been around for so long, and in there, and they were just ecstatic for us as a group, and it was just nice for us to be able to repay them as well as the club's probably struggled for a few years, so it's nice to be up playing finals footy, and it was just unreal. Like I probably haven't heard the song sung so loud and with so much enthusiasm for a while, which is really nice. It's just really good.
Hey, Jacko, it was a hot game. It was goal for a lot of the time, and then you guys sort of come out third quarter a little bit flat in that first part of the third quarter. The Blues sort of jumped on top, and then you were able to regain a little bit of ascendancy and finish the game off really well. What was sort of the messaging from Holty after the game in regards to the effort and what he saw?
Like you said, it was an absolute ripper of a game. Like, really good game. Obviously, finals footy, the intensity ramps up, and both teams got bloody nothing to lose. So, we had to win. I think last time we played Warrnambool too, they sort of come out in the third quarter and got a bit of a jump and kicked a few goals and really put it on us. And we had to respond again like that. So it's probably not ideal. I don't know. We've had a few games where we've come out in the start of the third quarter and teams have sort of got a bit of a jump on us. So we've tried to address it. We've tried to do different things. But, it's something we really need to work on coming, like against South this week. We need to come out firing after half time. But, like I said, after the game, the message just was for us just to be harder for longer from Holdy. So, that was a message the whole way through each break. And, at the end of the game, it sort of held us in good stead.
Hey, Jacko, I'm just thinking back, you played the Roosters only 2 weeks ago in that last round, and For that first half, you dominated. You know, you really put the pressure on, you know, their possession type style of game. How much do you take out of that game going into this week against the Roosters again?
Yeah, you take a lot out of that. I think when we played them the first time down in Portland, they were all over us. Their work rate and the way the defensive structure's always been really good, and it was really good down here at Hampden Park. So we really had an emphasis on really applying that pressure, sort of one-on-one footy, and trying to play that the game in our forward half. And I think, especially for that first half, it was pressure and the intensity was there. And like you said, we probably were on top for that first half and found avenues to go where in other years we've probably struggled. That the execution inside forward 50 has probably been the thing that's let us down. But yeah, I thought it was really good, especially that first half.
Hey, Jacko, tell us about your midfield. I love what you put out on Sunday. Benny Malcolm was absolutely magnificent. Huppets, he's a star. Shepherd was fantastic. Yourself, you got a pretty impressive midfield combination going there, buddy.
Yeah, it's good, and it's not just one or two. It's 3, 4, 5. So anyone that rolls through has really been playing well, and it helps having, like you said, Benny Malcolm, probably he's top 2 ruckman in the league. Having him being able to give us first use most weeks is really handy, and he tells you where he's going to hit it, and you just got to get there. And we've got that sort of midfield group that's been together all year and been working, so we gel together pretty nicely. And I think we all add something different. So whether it be the inside work or the outside run, bit of craft, like Toby Jennings has that bit of craft that, it's something different. So someone brings something different to the midfield, which I think helps us a lot.
And I reckon what else is impressive about your season too, Jacko, is your spread of goal kickers. Yeah, we know Sharpie's kicked 80-odd goals for the year, and what an effort that's been in itself. But, you know, the likes of Richardson can bob up, Jennings can bob up. You know, you're able to go forward. I think, you know, your midfielders push forward a lot, kick goals, but also are able to push back. So I like the spread of goal kicking that you share around too.
Yeah, obviously, like Sharpie's being the predominant goal kicker, and then the rest would be pretty even. So, it's nice to have, if Sharpie can kick his 5, 6 goals, and then you get a contribution. Like Toby Jennings is just as dangerous as anyone up forward. He can kick 2 or 3, and then, like you said, that's the midfielders. We've got a bit of a license to be a bit more aggressive running forward from Holdy. So, I think that's helped us as well this year. And sometimes we've been too aggressive running forward, and not helping it out defensive enough. So we've really had to get onto that and switch of when to go forward and when to help back. Yeah.
Love it, mate. Hey, listen, good luck on Sunday. Going to be a ripping game against the Roosters, mate. We wish you all the best of luck, and thanks for joining us on the Online Footy Show, buddy.
No worries, thanks, lads.
Good stuff. Daniel Jackson, geez, he had a good game.
He was. I reckon you've probably been a little bit lean on him. I reckon he had about 40 touch.
Yeah.
He would have had heaps. And I'm serious. We're probably looking at Maskell next week when we have our show.
Yeah, he's got to be a massive chance.
He's in top 3 chances for mine.
Yeah.
He's
Mine
had a super year. He's had a terrific year.
Absolutely, Hilly. Hey, listen, let's have a look at the highlights. Starting off with the drawn game, of course, the qualifying final last week between the North Warrnambool Eagles and the South Warrnambool Roosters. And to be honest, Hilly, the first 3 quarters it was the Eagles. They probably dominated. They were just ahead, weren't they? They kicked out by a couple of goals, and they just played kind of well for that first 3 quarters. But you could see the Roosters just building into the contest.
Yeah, the Roosters had enough of the footy, but they just didn't have good connection going forward, whereas the Eagles were probably a little bit more efficient going forward. You know, Dion Johnson, beautiful goal there. Wines was causing him some headaches and so forth. And I guess, their midfielders were in and under, getting a lot of that hard footy as well. And to be honest with you, I thought their defenders really stood up. Johnny McKinnon, best game I've seen him play, just stood, really strong in defence, and they were hard to sort of able to massage that footy through that forward 50 for the Roosters.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Wines too, the skipper for the Eagles, comes through. Beautiful mark there too. That was a Matco higher highlight. He hurt his shoulder there, but he did recover. Harry Lee was brilliant for the Roosters cross half back all day and all year. He's been sensational. There's Joey McKinnon you touched on. His best game too, had the big job on Bex. Bex had a bit of it too, don't worry about that. This kid's a star, Archie Stevens.
Kick 3.
They took a while for mine to move him into the middle. Jetty Henderson, mate, kid to watch too. This kid's playing really good football. And then, of of course, we went to the second half, and the Roosters slowly just edged their way back into the contest. A few things went their way at the start of that last quarter to get themselves. And I must admit, I thought the Eagles were out on their feet, but they just scratched and they clawed and they got themselves across the line to get and force a tie. And then they come out in the extra time and actually it looked like they were running over the top of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think a few positional changes certainly helped the Roosters make up. Bridgewater went forward.
He was good forward, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Bex and Kelly played predominantly ruck in that last quarter. But it was, the Roosters are up by 6 points with probably about 30 seconds to go. Wines had taken a mark. We'll see the highlights pretty soon. And then Aussie Sinclair, goal from about 40 on a 45-degree angle on the run with limited time left. Was able to nail it through and cause the extra time. So that meant we had 2 5-minute quarters in that extra time. And I thought it was handled really, really well. There was no confusion. Both sides not what they're doing. The league was sensational in that orchestrating. So, it was an exciting finish.
Yeah, it was an exciting finish. And, it just went down to the wire. It was just a magnificent game. Played in good spirits. Big crowd, of course, out of Victoria Park in Croydon last weekend. Nice mark there too by young Jonah Marr. He's certainly got a bright future, the young kid. There's Henderson again, takes an absolute screamer. Kicks a nice goal too at a very important time, did Jetty Henderson. And at this stage, you kind of thought, the Roosters are home here. I just had that feeling. But to the credit of the North Warrnambool Eagles, they fought back into the contest and got back into it. Hussey was good.
Yeah.
I wonder whether he might play a little bit more midfield. He plays predominantly forward at the moment.
Yeah.
They might run him through there, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon you're right. He probably played more midfield time than he's played all season, Huss, whereas, Archie Stevens probably played a little bit more half-forward line. Here's the mark from Adam Wines, terrific mark, and he gets the handball out to Austin Sinclair. If you watch the other passage of play, their little cheeky handball here, he's just waiting, gets it. And Sinclair, beautiful finish to the footy. And that was the draw. That was the draw at the end of the siren. They got around him and, in the extra time, they were just awesome, as you said, the North Warrnambool Eagles. I thought Smets really lifted in that extra time.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit of an injury cloud on Billy Smets heading into this weekend's second semi-final in Kent. He was a bit sore early in the game, but he battled on well, didn't he, to get back. Bridgewater pulled down a screamer there, and it was a perfect start for South Warrnambool. He was a handful up forward, was Ollie Bridgewater. Then the skipper delivers for the Eagles, kind of against the run of play, wasn't it? Then, Billy Smets, here it is, comes out, and that is the match winner there for Big Billy. Hopefully he can get up for this weekend's game because he's an important player, isn't he, Hilly?
Oh, I think his role in the midfield's been enormous this year. He's added so much more, where he's probably played half forward and midfield, but this year predominantly midfield. Vardy was huge in my mind. Geez, his centre work is first class.
He was probably one of the better games I've seen, the big fella, this year. He dominated in the middle, I thought, at times. Just his tap work was brilliant. We turn our attention now to Sunday, of course, Hilly, and it was elimination final. Big crowd over at the Gardens Oval, Port Fairy, bathed in sunshine. Ground was magnificent, and we saw a really free-flowing game of football.
Oh, great conditions, great crowd, and free-flowing. There was, as we said to Jacko before, goal for goal. Paddy Anderson, beautiful kick. Huppert's kicked a couple. Sharp and Rowan were in the game early. Defenders had to be on their toes, and the midfielders were working hard up both ends of the ground. It was a terrific contest.
It was a terrific contest. And what about this man, Rowan? He's 36 years old now. He's just had an unbelievable season, and he's such a pivotal player, isn't he? For the Blues, and sharp. And look at this for a goal from Jackson Bell. Just paddles it in. Goal of the year for mine. Left foot snap from the boundary. Have a look at that. That's as good as you'll see. Dinger goes bang, and you can see the response there from his teammates at the Blues. That was magnificent. We're going to get to the mark too.
Oh yeah, terrific.
So I think we saw the mark of the year and also the goal of the year in the same game. Yep. Aaron Shepherd, wasn't he good for Portland, mate? Playing a lot through the midfield now. He's got a bit of size about him, and he was brilliant. Yeah,
terrific. Worked well with Jackson, and you could really see how much they were loving being a part of the finals footy too. The Tigers, the crowd was getting behind them every time. Someone did something good or a good goal. They were getting behind one another. And I'll tell you one thing: this fella here, Tom Sharp, his body work in the contest. If you can isolate him one-on-one with his opponent, he's going to win it more times than not because he's just smart.
He doesn't get beaten very often, does he? No. In a one-on-one contest. There's another cracking goal from Jackson Bell. He's hit a couple of absolute beauties this year, and they were two of his best. Jacko, that is for sure. So we went into the third quarter, and I must admit, the Blues dominated possession here in this third quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, they got an early one through Rowan. I reckon that was goal number 5 for Rowie, and well, he's only 5 away from the 1,000, so we'll have to do his game first round next year with the great man playing. Nice mark taken there, and yeah, they just got on top. I thought Benedict Howard was really strong in the midfield, got his midfielders first juice. Paddy Anderson, Jai Turl, and they were really busy in the midfield.
Jai was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And then sort of Portland got a goal, and then the momentum swung with them, and they sort of controlled the second half of the third term. Hampshire kicked a beauty. That was a tough kick against a little swirly sort of breeze.
And he'd just been off too, with a little bit of a sore groin too, so good effort for the kid to get back on. Jennings there, slots another. He's a beauty.
He's first class.
They got some good plays, Portland. And fourth quarter action, it was game on, but the Tigers just lifted another notch, didn't they?
Yeah, Malcolm was winning the tap outs. He's a big frame, and in game 150 was solid. Jackson just kept on playing. He's a 4-quarter player, there's no doubt about that. Huppets, who was on and off against the Roosters, obviously coming back from a hamstring, played sort of managed minutes. He was unbelievable. He had a lot of the footy as well, kicked a couple, and as I said, one of their strings to their bow from the midfield is they can go and kick goals, Portland, and that's I think that held them in good stead.
Yeah, absolutely they can, and there's our man Jackson again. He had a sensational game and pretty pumped up there, the big fella. Lockie Warden, good young kid for the Blues.
Nice
Kid to watch, kid to follow. Here's the mark. Have a look at this one, and hopefully we might see it in slow-mo as well, but that was Reggie Mast. It probably doesn't do it as much justice as when you do see it in slow-mo. That was just an absolutely brilliant grab. He's only 15, this kid. He's just about to turn 16. So he's, and young Radley's the same at Warrnambool. So they've got some good kids. Warden's another young kid. Boyd's another young kid. So they've got some good young kids coming through that they can build a side around. That is for sure. And then you got your Turlins and players like that. Jason Rowan who'll go around again. Cowling
tried hard. He was on one leg.
He was on one leg, mate. And to even get out there and play, I thought was just a magnificent effort by Big Move. So, and Jackson Bell, you just know what you're going to get with Dinger each and every week. So, yeah, it was. Look, Blues were out, but well done to the Portland Tigers. Absolutely magnificent. Mark of the day, of course, and the Matco High highlight was no doubt our man Reggie Mast.
And Jacko.
We might try, I think we've got the footage of it. We might try and just get that up now if our producer he's all over it. So we might have a look at it because they do show it in slow motion here. And honestly, it was absolutely phenomenal.
The hang time that Reggie got was, he was up there for a little while, and it was just a slow come down and just holding onto the ball. Yeah. It was pretty cool to watch.
A little bit sore. So we might, I think we have got that footage. So we'll have, as I said, they've got it in the slow-mo too, which I think is adds to it and certainly makes it look even better as well. So we might have it, we might not have it. So I think we've got it. We'll go and have a look at it now. So here it is. We saw this just before. And we'll get the slow-mo here. And you actually, this probably doesn't do the grab justice, that little camera angle there. But when we get in and we slow-mo it here, Hilly, you will see, and a lot of cars have left the game. There's a big crowd there, but the Sting was out of the game at this stage. Have a look at this. That's on the shoulders of Malcolm. And just leant back and straight back on the back, the big fella. And
Haylock as well, and they're not short.
Absolutely. So well done.
And then what about the chant? They got up and about when Reggie, the Blues were out and they lost the game, but he's a cult figure across the Hampden League.
They love him, absolutely love him, that is for sure. Snags, Luke's by the snag of the day, Jackson Bell, of course, as we mentioned. Have we got a tool of the week? What do we decide for the Southwest tool of the week this week?
Surely there's something out there. Actually, it could be Blackers again with the light bulb.
Actually, I'm sorry, Blackers. You're confident again, big fella.
He's got about $300 worth of vouchers this year.
And he tried to deny it, and he tried to say no, it wasn't him. So we come back after half time during our call, and he was getting a bit worried about the light in the commentary box. And there's a reason that there's no globe in the box. And he goes and gets the light globe from next door, brings it back, slots it in, turns the light on. Bang, off air. And tried to say that it wasn't the light globe. And we give him the evil look, didn't we, Hilly? He knocked us straight off and he said, listen, mate, get rid of the light globe. You go back and you worry about just doing the stats, big fella, in the special comment. So, yes, he is our Southwest tool of the week, Alan Blackburn. Get out and see Paddy Lane and the crew. out there at Southwest Tools. But all in all, it was just a great weekend.
Yeah, it was a terrific weekend for a Hampden League. You know, I'm a passionate Hampden League man. It was just great to see the crowd back and everyone really embracing finals footy.
And of course, this weekend, our matches of the day are going to be both of them. So Saturday, Koroit taking on the North Warrnambool Eagles up at the Friendly Societies Park. Sunday, first semi-final at Cobden. It is going to be the South Warrnambool Roosters taking on the Portland Tigers. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. $5,000 kick, all thanks to Warrnambool Toyota. You can scan now, you can get involved. 10 lucky people getting the chance to kick for $5,000. All thanks to Burjo Goffey and Big Harrow out there at Warrnambool Toyota. Half-time, Jason Rowan and Tony Russell, two of the league's legends.
So that one's ticked off?
I think so. Rowy's there. I don't know about Rusty. I better get in contact, Rusty. If you're out there and you're watching, mate, we need to get you there on grand final day, which is going to be magnificent as well. And don't forget McDonald's, our other wonderful sponsor. If the first score in the Hampden League Senior Footy Grand Final is a goal, every single person through the gate is going to get a free cheeseburger thanks to McDonald's. That is magnificent.
Yeah, that's good. I love the support there from Macca's. That's a big investment if that happens.
Huge.
But they love being a part of the Hampden League. No doubt about it.
My oath, and it's a fresher final series, of course. Powercor, Sungold, toot traffic there behind you, Hilly, just keeping an eye on you, the big fella. He's a magic man. He's a tutor, and there's a big sponsors day coming up on grand final day too. A lot of people are going to get along, which will be fantastic. The league's doing an enormous job. They should be commended, that is for sure. And we'll have some special guests, including Shawnee Ryan. On Hampden League Grand Final Day, of course, umpire extraordinaire. He's going to be the special guest, which is going to be magnificent. And possibly one or two other AFL boys are going to be there and part of the action on Grand Final Day. Hey, listen, so much to get through these next couple of weeks. Maskell Medal coming up too, Sunday week. It is going to be huge. We hope you're enjoying the first week of the finals. We've got plenty more to come. We hope you enjoy our online footy show.